When awareness is focused in the waking state, all these separate objects and people and thoughts and selves seem to come into existence. But as there is this relaxation of the focus of attention, there is less clearly defined borders between things. And so as there is this relaxation, there is more communication between the objects. So that is why, for instance, you observed quite rightly that as we meditate, we become more transparent, more sensitive. We read people, we feel people, and we feel objects. You go into a museum, and you see an object, and the object becomes transparent to you. You feel, and that's because you see the object in this case it's not a physical. It's never a physical object. The object is an appearance in your mind. So the object is just the. It's difficult to describe this. The object is really a field in the mind, a field made out of mind, not an object made out of matter. So when you experience the object, you're really experiencing the field. And there's much less separation between minds than there is between bodies. So that's why, for instance, as this relaxation of awareness takes place, at some stage we go even out of the dream state, and we enter what from the point of view of psychology is called the collective unconscious. The collective unconscious is that field of experience that is appearing in consciousness that has not yet become the unique property of any individual mind. So it is shared. All beings have access to it. So the mind is like a narrowing of that field. And it's only when the mind comes into the waking state that it seems to be my mind separate from your mind. But actually, as there is a relaxation of the mind, the distinction between minds gets blurred. And we know this even in the waking state. People experience knowing one another's thoughts, so that there can be synchronistic events are in fact the collective unconscious breaking through into the waking state. But actually when awareness is almost completely defocused, in other words, it hasn't crystallized into the finite mind, the contents of awareness they take place outside the finite mind. The finite mind is just a slither, a small segment of what is in consciousness. So when there is this relaxation of the finite mind, we become sensitive and open to a field of the mind that is much larger than our own finite mind. And that can take place with another person or with an object. So the field, the Ming vase that we were talking about, or a work of art, or a piece of music, you feel deeply connected. You could even have this feeling sometimes that I made that. I taste, I know what it's made of. Because where this object came from, the field that it came out of, is the same field that your finite mind comes out of. It's only in the waking state that there seems to be a distinction between the object and myself. But as we go back, as we relax, these distinctions no longer exist. And in this, what is called in psychology, the collective unconsciousness it's not unconscious. It is just that it is excluded from the waking state mind, which focuses so directly on objects. The unconscious is not unconscious. It is in consciousness, but outside the limited finite mind. I don't know if I've described that clearly. It's difficult to describe it.
I think so. You describe it very clearly, and I believe that Ming vase, for instance, it just no, I can't describe it. There comes something that what is it? Transgress or just makes a bridge, let's say, just bridges time and space.
That's exactly right. It's exactly right. And this is the way an artist works. An artist brings into the field of the waking state information that is available to the whole of humanity in the collective unconscious. But in order to manifest as an object or as knowledge, it has to come through a finite mind. So an artist will create a piece of writing or a vase or a piece of music. But the content, what they have made available for humanity, knowledge which is universal, it belongs to everyone, which means it belongs to consciousness. But in order to be manifest, it had to come through a particular mind. So what is called an artist is simply one whose body-mind is just the right shape for this aspect of consciousness to manifest. And in manifesting that object, the artist, who is really just a channel, the artist makes available for humanity knowledge that everyone knows but has forgotten. And when we see a work of art, that's why great works of art, that they are recognized universally. As you say, that they're nothing to do with the time, although they may be clothed in the time and space in which they were created, they transcend that. They speak across generations, across borders, because they are putting into form something that is shared by everybody, and they give everybody access to what is in the depths of their own consciousness.
They make a portal.
They're like a portal, exactly, yes. Exactly. Yeah. And when we go into a museum and look at a piece, we are being given access to the depths of our being. We're not looking at objects. The objects are a portal, and as you say, if you meditate a lot, our body-mind is gradually, in most cases, cleaned of all its egoic residues, which makes the body-mind much more sensitive, so that when you go into a museum or you look at an object or hear a piece of music, its real content can come straight into you. That was the experience you had in the museum with where are you?